doing this, but my sense is that it's not something that you wouldn't consider, and that there's a certain willingness and history of making changes
Yeah.
to improve your lifestyle. So where do we go from here? What do we do?
I don't really know what the options. I don't really know what help is available or anything like that. I mean, that would, I mean, I could do the same thing I did with this issue. As if I got, I guess I could just get on the internet and start looking for what are the options out there to help with the drinking problem.
It might be helpful if you were to explore options for help, or
Yeah.
how you can go about
I
it.
mean, I guess you probably already know what those things are. So.
Well, there's some things I can suggest, but what I want to hear from you is where are you on this issue? I mean, is it something you want to consider to sit on and think about, or where are we at?
No, I mean, I have to make a change at some point, and so I mean, it's I'm basically in the same dilemma I was at when I decided that I needed to change the way that I eat. Honestly.
Okay.
I mean, it's
the same as
yeah.
the eating thing.
There's a level of misery involved that is.
And so it's by the use of the word misery, it's reached a point where something needs to be done.
Yeah, we could, whatever is going to get worse. I don't really want to experience whatever that means, whatever that undefined. I don't really want any of that.
Right.
I don't really want to know what is in that.
You feel like it may get worse, could get worse, and you don't want to.
I'm pretty convinced it could get worse. Yeah. I'm pretty convinced of that.
So what do you want to do? Where are we at?
Well, I mean, I would have to agree that not drinking has to become the goal.
Okay. So I'm hearing a commitment to not drink.
Right.
Okay.
Although I don't really understand what all that means, honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, we can talk about that and should talk about that. Some degree of planning can happen now, and as you say, we can continue to refine that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pat, we've talked about a lot of things, and you've been very articulate and really helped me to understand your situation, which I can very much appreciate. This led up to you actually saying that you were reasonably committed to stopping your drinking, and although you recognize that this is not a trivial thing.
No.
And you were asking me for some ideas on how you might go about it. Before I go there, I should mention that you did, in our discussion, mention that you need to stay away from bars. Or do you have any other ideas? And you mentioned dancing as an option.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure what's out there. I mean, we are members of our church, and so there are church activities that go on,
and I can see where you're extraordinarily social, and that might be a really good idea for you to get to be better friends and more attached to some of the people in a community like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. It's just not there at a highly developed level, I will say. I have friends there.
You're right. Oh, so there's already a network there.
Yeah, there's some friends there. My wife has lots of friends there.
Right.
Do
you attend church regularly?
No.
Yeah. Okay. That you may, if this were to occur.
Yeah, right. I could get more involved.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's an option. That's one option.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's a possibility. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's just,
One thing that people who quit drinking, and I'm sure you're going to know about this, but the immediate recommendation is people say go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and that is a venue that may or may not work for you. I mean, some people find that to be immensely helpful, and they connect and they become part of this fellowship.
Well, I know.
some people
I
will turn it
definitely.
off.
I know a guy that goes to AA.
Yeah.
I know a guy. He goes to meetings. I've honestly never asked him a thing about it. He's never offered. So, I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I mean, I do know this guy that goes.
This is somebody you know well enough to pick up the phone and talk
Well,
to.
I know him at work.
Yeah. Oh, he's a
Yeah,
friend.
he's a guy that I work with, and you know, I mean, I would think he would tell me if I asked him.
Oh, I'm sure he would help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of Alcoholics Anonymous, and what they do is they
Mm-hmm.
try to help other people. And the organization is, in fact, as I understand it, focused on the mission of the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. And
Yeah, I
certainly,
understand. Yeah.
certainly fit that. And a lot of good people from all walks of life. So that would potentially be a venue for you.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I'm not one of these guys that like fears that AA people are going to drag me out of the bar and make me stop drinking or anything.
Right.
That's
Right.
not
Okay.
that's not really an issue for me.
Right. And you stated, although we both laughed, that some element of religion is not problematic.
Well, I mean, I'm in no shape to go to church. I
Okay.
mean, that's the thing is, do you go to church? No, I'm not going to church looking like that.
Okay.
It would be a bad. It wouldn't be
Okay.
a bad thing.
So you were more.
Right.
It was funny to you out of your
Yeah.
hypocritical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, I sit here and think to myself, and then my wife and my daughter go off to church, and they don't even ask me anymore.
Mhm.
It's.
So this would be a thing that you could. It would be another way for you to connect with your wife and family.
Oh, I definitely agree with you on that, and I actually used to when we did go to church. I actually kind of there was aspects of it that I kind of liked. I will admit that I am easily bored in church.
Okay.
I will admit that, but
Yeah.
that could be more. That could be other reasons. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. The reason I brought church back up again was Alcoholics Anonymous is there's a lot of talk about God. And
Yeah.
that turns some people off.
Yeah,
So-
it's not a problem for me.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of people who are agnostic or even atheist that
Hmm.
it runs them off. And
Yeah, I understand.
people also, to some extent, complain about running into people who are either extraordinarily severely addicted. They've lived on the streets.
Hmm.
They've had a very rough life, or and they can't relate. But there's a mix in there. There's people, many people like you, all the
Mhm.
way to people off the street, the more extreme forms. So,
I kind of get that.
yeah.
I would think that would be.
Okay. So it sounds like a real good option for
a
you,
normal.
Pat.
I mean,
For you to
I'm
at least
open.
try it.
I'm open to try it. I mean, I will tell you that it's funny because you would think that in all these, which are not deep conversations by any stretch of the imagination, but are in somewhat involved conversations around drinking. My wife has never mentioned go to AA one time.
Mm.
And if I go home and I mention that to her, I'm thinking that's going to be kind of a priceless conversation there.
You think that she will be happy to hear?
Oh, she's going to be happy to hear that I made this decision that,
Okay.
because there's only two sides of the coin, Rick. It's only drinking or not drinking. I mean, I'm with you there.
Okay.
So
You're highly committed.
I have to get to this place where it's not drinking for me.